Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K Facebook Live. And today I'm going to show you how I made a fun card with some new products that are coming in the, I guess it's the July to December mini catalog from Stampin' Up. So they are some awesome new products, and they will be available beginning on August 3rd. To the general public, to demonstrators, we can pre-order these items. So if you might be interested, hey Bree, thanks for hopping on, might be interested in joining to get your hands on some of these products a little early, you definitely can do that now. Join, and then you can add some of the awesome new pre-order items to your starter kit, and then you can get discounts of up to 20, at least 20% on any order that you place in the future, and then you can attend Stampin' Up! Events and all sorts of fun things as a demonstrator as well. So if you're interested in joining, let me know. I'd be happy to chat with you more about it. And but yeah, like I said, we're going to go ahead and get started playing with some new goodies. So I see Barbara is here, and Chi is here, and Elise, and Karen, and Trudy, and Rosie. So thanks so much for joining, everybody. I appreciate you being here. And other Karen, yep. So Linda's here. You know, and you're both in the car listening. Awesome. I'm sure you two will both be giggling away listening to me carry on here. So, well, it's good to see you. Well, I mean, not really see you, but, you know, sort of see you guys here. So, hey, Erin and Linda, and, you know, hope you have a good drive wherever you're headed to. So, okay, so let's get chatting about the card. So this is what we're going to make today. It's actually super simple. A little bit of die cutting, a little tiny bit of stamping, and then you're going to be all done. Oh, there's a little bit embossing on here as well. So. We've got the Frosted Gingerbread Stamp Set, which is a really cute one. And, of course, it's got coordinating dies that you all know that I love. But the stamp set has got some fun sentiments in it. Hey, Jamie, thanks for hopping in. Fun sentiments and fun images. And when you stamp these, and actually when you die cut them as well from the craft paper, they look just like gingerbread cookies. At least I think they do. I can't, you know, I could never make them and look like this. So that's why I do stamping stuff. It's sort of like plants and trees and things. I can't grow those either. So I just stamp them and we call it good. So, hey, Akiko, thanks for hopping on today. So it's a really cute stamp set bundle. So again, stamp set dies. There's a really cute little, I have it upside down, of course, kind of a little edge die piece. And then we've got the cookie dies here. And these are actually two pieces. So it's got the outside piece that you can cut the background with, and then the more intricate piece that fits inside it. You can use them separately, obviously, as well. This actually fits around some of the stamped images. Of course, the images are shown smaller, but they do fit the stamped images. There's one here that fits on the little peppermints that you can die cut. So there are little peppermint pieces that you can die cut and candy pieces, so you can cut out the circles and then cut out the little kind of the inside swirls on the peppermints as well. And they have them in a couple different sizes. So it's a really good die set, really good stamp set. Definitely one that you need to add. The other bonus with this is that it's part of a whole big product suite. Hey, Karen, thanks for joining, and Danette and Corinne. I appreciate y'all being here. So it's part of a big suite of products. So there are some coordinating designer papers. There's coordinating ribbon. There is actually a Memories and More card pack set that goes with it. What else? There's a pillow box die that, again, you don't have to use it with it, but it's all designed to kind of coordinate and work together. So it's a big suite of products that you can either purchase individually or do what I do and just push the one button and get everything all in the suite, because you're going to want it all anyway. So, all right, so let me set those aside and talk about a couple other things that we used. Hey, Beth. That's a good idea to rub the paper with cinnamon stick and it would smell good. That's an awesome idea. I'm sure that there's probably like spray things that you can get that have gingerbread smells, because, you know, I know they make candles and things like that. So I'm sure that they have those types of things that you can purchase and, you know, spray your little cards. Definitely a good idea. So, hey, Karen, glad that you're joining from New Mexico. Hopefully you aren't cooking out there. I know it's been pretty warm. And Bonnie and Marilyn, thanks for hopping in today. So you can probably hardly see it on here, but I did emboss the Real Red panel that's underneath the sentiment. Trying to get it hopefully in the light where you can see it, with the little snowflake die. And this is from the Wintry 3D embossing folder set. So you actually get both of these when you order these, and they are in the annual catalog, so you can get them now if you are interested. This one is a really pretty kind of just the pine needles and pine boughs and pretty greenery, and then we've got the snowflake one that goes with it. So definitely a good set of embossing folders, and they're the smaller ones, so if you have the mini die cutting machine, they will fit through that machine as well. And then, of course, what I always use on almost all my cards is, hey, Chris, thanks for joining. So I used one of the stitched rectangle dies, and it's actually the third largest one that I used to cut the background panel on it. There is actually a reason why I do that, or why I did that in this particular card, because you actually, oh, I've got chunks of something on my card. Oh, I don't know what that was for sure. But anyway, hopefully it wasn't something that, yeah, I think it's a little punch piece from something else. So the reason that I did this is this die measures almost right at 3 inches. So this designer paper that I used in the background here that I die cut with this is actually a 6x6 designer paper. So if you're really careful about how you cut the paper, you can actually get 2 of the background panels cut with the one die. And that's the reason why I tend to use the little bit smaller die when I want it to be kind of a layered look like this, so that I can get 2 card fronts from the same piece of designer paper. So. All right, so again, those are the stitched rectangle dies, and they're in the annual catalog, and if you don't have them, you definitely need them. So last thing that I did use on here, when I try to think ahead sometimes, I don't always do a good job of that, but when I'm using intricate die cuts like this one, where I've got the basic white die cut, and I know that I'm gonna stick it down to the craft, and that you can use multi-purpose liquid glue, but it's a lot of little dobbies with glue. So I try to remember to pull out the adhesive sheets. They work wonders when you're doing this kind of a die cut. All you do is it works basically, it turns your paper into a sticker. So you cut it to the size that you need it. I cut 2 of them that are about that big so that they would go on the back of, would fit underneath the die cuts that I was using. And they don't even really need to go edge to edge on the die cut. They just need to do most of it. And then you stick it on the back of the paper. You peel off part of it, stick it on the back of the paper, run it through your die cutting machine, and then I'll show you in a second, but you peel off the other half of the adhesive sheet, and then it turns this into a sticker, which makes it so much easier to glue down than using liquid glue. So if you don't have the adhesive sheets, definitely you need to get some of these, and again, these are in the annual catalog. So, all right, so let's get going. So, about the dies and the designer paper. I'm not sure what, hopefully I said something really smart. Oh, I think you're talking about, cutting it in half, the 3x3 piece or 3x6 pieces of it to die cut it. So I'm sure I said something really brilliant. But I think that was it. So, also on the dies that coordinate the dies in the gingerbread die set, actually, they're gingerbread and peppermint 6x6 designer series paper. Stampin' Up! Has done some of the work for us, and they actually have some of the pieces of designer paper that you can cut with the dies as well, which is always an awesome thing. Speaking of designer paper, Stampin' Up! Has their designer series paper sale going on right now. You get 15% off 9 select packs of paper from the annual catalog for the entire month of July and into August 2nd. So this sale ends August 2nd. The details are on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com. So make sure you stop by and check that out. If you don't have these papers, you need them all because they're all beautiful and all awesome. And I can't even pick a favorite one because there are like too many. So definitely get on ordering that. So make sure you get your orders put in by the end of by August 2nd so that you can get the deal. So, all right. So let's get going on the card. Designer Series paper. This is actually from the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper, which is one of them that is on sale this month. So again, make sure you're getting on ordering that. So I use this for the background, and it's got little snowflakey kind of look on it, and it's Sahara sand is the base of it. The backside's got some pretty images on it as well, but I have a Sahara sand card base, and we are actually going to glue these together. With a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue here. And when I do card fronts, I usually tend to use the liquid glue when I'm covering the whole card front, so I have a little bit of wiggle room on it. Said that you haven't mastered the adhesive sheets yet, Karen. They're actually, the biggest thing is just make sure that you cut it to the right size and then stick it on the back side of your paper. I actually I have them pre-cut already, so I'm not even going to be showing you how to cut them. But that's just it. The main thing is, and then I've totally stuck this on sideways. So I'm going to push and grunt a little bit as I try to put it on the card front right. See, that's what happens when I try to read comments and glue at the same time. It doesn't work out well. So, all right, I think I'm getting it straightened out. All right. Whew. Okay. So we've got, again, Sahara sand card base that's cut to 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. All the details are going to be posted on my blog tomorrow, so no need to worry about writing anything down at this point. Again, this is the gingerbread and peppermint Designer Series paper that it will be available on August 3rd in the new mini catalog. And again, I've cut it with the third from the largest stitched rectangle die. And again, it's right at 3 inches by about 4 3/8 inch. So I have a piece of, I almost called it basic red, real red cardstock that I have cut to 3 1/8 inch by 4.5 inches. And again, I'll be posting this on my blog tomorrow. We're just going to layer them up with a little bit, hopefully, of Stampin' Seal, if I can get it to roll. There we go. Say, where's the sticky? It's a new, I've got a new Stampin' Seal in here, and of course it's wanting me to have to push it and shove it a little bit to get it to go rolling. All right, so we're going to glue these together, hopefully straight, with a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and then we're going to take that and adhere it to the card front, again with Stampin' Seal. This part of the card I wanted to be a little bit flatter since we're going to layer quite a few things on top of it. But to help me to get it somewhat lined up, I'm putting it on my grid paper, hopefully with the lines somewhat straight on here. And then I just sort of use the lines and hopefully my awesome vision to be able to line it up. So I just try to envision where the lines would cut through here and along the edges. I feel like I'm off center just a little bit. Today apparently is an off-center day for me. So, all right, I think we got it fairly centered. So again, just adhere that together with a little bit of Stampin' Seal. The next layer, I actually, again, did this ahead of time, so you wouldn't have to sit and watch me emboss because that's kind of boring. With the Wintry, one of the embossing folders from the Wintry embossing folder set. It's a 3D embossing folder in the annual catalog. This is real red cardstock, and I have it cut to 1.5 inches wide by 5 1/8 inches long. And then I've got another piece of real red cardstock here that I have cut to about 1/8 of an inch wider, which would be 5 1/4 by 1 5/8. And my Stampin' Seal is really not wanting to cooperate here. So hopefully we'll get it to work. All right, I've got glue boogers on my fingers. Yuck. Okay, so I'm going to adhere these together. And again, just trying to center it on the panel here and make sure that I've got it somewhat in the middle. And again, red on red, you can't really tell if you get it a little bit off center, but I want it to be mostly centered. And then we're going to take a little bit of the Stampin' Seal again, and we are going to adhere this to the card front. Just need to put a little bit sort of in the middle, again, because this has got a layer on it already. If you put it all the way out to the ends, you can, but you sometimes get a little bit of a bend down in the cardstock, so I tried to keep it towards the center. And again, I'm going to try to put this so that I can hopefully get it adhered on here straight and somewhat in the center, hopefully. All right, I think we kind of did it. And again, it doesn't really matter that much. It was just sort of my own personal thing that I wanted to make sure that I got it fairly straight on here. And again, I did the die cutting ahead of time. So these are cut from the Craft 6x6 paper pack. Both of these were, and I cut them with some of the gingerbread dies, which of course I threw way off up here. So I cut the outside with the bell die and then the star die. So these are the two dies that I used, the outside pieces, for the Craft 6x6 paper. And then I went ahead and just adhered the adhesive sheets to the back of the basic white cardstock, and then ran these both through the die cutting machine with the more intricate die that looks a little bit like icing to layer over the top of the dies that the pieces that I had cut previously with the larger dies, so from the gingerbread set. And of course, now I'm going to try to pick the stickers off the back of the adhesive sheets, hopefully. I clearly didn't practice this part ahead. So there we go. They're just peeling them apart here. And again, they work just like a sticker. So everything on the back is kind of sticky, so you don't want to stick too much of it to your fingers. And pretty much where you want to make sure you're kind of where you want it to be before you lay it down on the piece of cardstock, because this is a little bit like Stampin' Seal, and that once it goes down, it's down. So you can wiggle a little bit, but it's pretty well stuck down. So, all right, and then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Just going to take my fingernail and kind of pry up the backing of the sticker and peel it off the back of the die cut. And then we're just going to layer that one right over the top here as well and stick them together. And I love that there's no fuss, there's no glue goobers, no nothing when you do it that way. So that's why I like the adhesive sheets when I remember to use them, but for whatever reason my brain sometimes doesn't always remember to use them. So, all right, got a couple glue dots here, and we're going to adhere the die cuts to the card front, and just going to take, again, just a couple of glue dots on the back of each one. And again, I didn't do Stampin' Dimensionals just because I know that Christmas time we send lots and, well, at least I send lots and lots of cards. And when you have to put that extra stamp on all of them because you've made them too thick, which I frequently do, that gets a little more expensive. So I try to do some that are not quite as thick that you can send out with a single stamp. And this one should be one of those cards. So again, glue dots, and I'm just adhering the two die cuts to the card front. And I don't know that I had any really like special placement or anything that I did on it. Next up, I've got some of the red rhinestone basic jewels. Now in the suite, there is actually a set of little, I think they're resin, I can't remember the name of them. I should have pulled the catalog out, but I didn't. But they're little resin dots that you can actually stick over the top of your images to make it look like little decorations on your gingerbread cookies. But you have to glue each one individually. And, as y'all know, I'm kind of a lazy stamper. So when I can do things more quickly, like adding the self-adhesive dots to it, that's how Amy generally tends to roll. Because, if I have to sit with liquid glue and try to glue them all down individually, it takes me kind of a while, and it's sort of like fussy cutting for me, that I'm not a really excellent person with the liquid glue. I get stuff glued on and the glue gloops out and whatever. I much prefer to use the little more tape roller type adhesive so I don't make quite so much of a mess. And anything that's got self-adhesive stuff on the back, I'm all over it. So that is why I decided to use these instead of the little glue down pieces, which they're really cute. But I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm the lazy stamper. So I definitely, when I can use these types of things, I will definitely do that. All right, so we are almost done actually with the card front. I've got a little piece of Sahara Sand cardstock. This is cut to 5/8 by about 3 1/4. And I've got my Banners Pick-a-Punch that I'm going to be using here to punch this. Now the slot in here is technically, it's a 1/2 inch, and then we've got a 3/4 of an inch, and then we have a 1 inch wide. So when I put this in here, I need to kind of put it in and slide it all the way to the back. And then what I'm going to try to do is make sure that I'm fairly centered in here, and we're going to punch it. And that works out pretty well. Now, again, I just kind of centered it between this line and this line, if that made sense. It just slid it to the back, centered it, and then punched it. Sometimes they come out a little crazy if you don't get it in there exactly right, but the nice thing is you can just slide it back in and punch a little bit more off the end of it, and nobody will know that it was punched all kinds of crazy. So. Eating lunch and enjoying. All right, I'm glad. Well, hopefully you got some good cookies to have a little bit later. So, hey, Linda, glad you're here from Idaho as well. So, got Early Espresso ink for the sentiment on here, and this one just simply says Happy Holidays, and we're going to stamp that on the little banner. Hopefully, if I can get a good inking done here. Speaking of Designer Series papers, oh boy, of course I've got a glare on my block. And hopefully I can get this on here straight. If not, I'll flip it over. But I have a Designer Series paper share with all of the new Designer Series papers from the upcoming mini catalog. So the details are posted on my blog, which again is stampwithamyk.com. So take a peek at that. Let me know if you're interested in joining. I'll be ordering the papers just as quickly as I can on August 3rd, chopping them up and sending them back out just as fast as I can get them to you. Because I know if you're like me, I'm impatient and want all my stuff and I want it right away. But it's a really good way to get a nice sampling of all the new designer papers, and then you can decide which ones you want to get in a full pack. So again, the details are posted on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com. I'm using Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to adhere this on to my card front. And I feel like I must have turned my star just a little bit differently because I'm going to cover up one of my little gems here, but that's okay because I want the sentiment to be up just a little bit higher. And that's it. So the card front's all done on this one. The inside of the card I kept pretty simple as well. So this is basic white, and I've got it cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And again, I'm using Early Espresso and one of the other sentiments from the Frosted Gingerbread stamp set. This one says, "Wishing you a Merry Christmas." And we are just going to stamp that fairly centered here, hopefully, and straight in the middle of the basic white cardstock panel. And then we're going to take two of the little cookie images, well, one of the cookie images, and we're going to stamp it in Sahara Sand ink 2 times on the panel, and that's going to be it. So, all right, so again, these are the cute little cookie images from the Frosted Gingerbread stamp set. And just going to turn it and stamp it like that. And then turn it and stamp it the other way, kind of up a little bit on the other side of the card. And I think we'll go right there. And that's going to be it for the inside of the card. So again, I kept it pretty simple, which I tend to try to do with holiday cards, especially if you're going to be making them in bulk. You don't want something that's going to take, well, I mean, maybe you want to do a 4-hour-long card, but I generally tend to want to get them done and get them done fairly quickly. So I usually try to get them, do things on it that make it a little bit faster for me. For instance, using the little gems instead of using the resin dots to glue and add a little bit of red to the cookies. So, all right, let me get the glue boogers off my fingers, and we'll adhere this to the inside of the card. I still have a glue booger on my finger. Yuck. And then we're going to take the bone folder and do a quick crease. And we are going to be all done with the card for today. All right, so there you go. 2 simple holiday cards and all done and ready to go. So again, all the details are going to be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. Be sure to check out my paper shares. They'll be in the blog post as well. I will be linking up the blog post out here as soon as it goes live tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock Eastern time. So I appreciate you all being here and sharing part of your day with me, and have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. I will plan to be live. It seems like there's only one sticky side. Oh, yeah. There are 2 sticky sides, so definitely, peel the backing off, feel the sticky, put the sticky on the back of your cardstock, whatever you're going to cut it, and then the rest of it will peel off. So I promise that's how they work, Karen. So they're actually pretty simple to use. So give it a whirl and see if that works for you. But I will plan to be back on my YouTube channel live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday with a card project, and then back here again next week, Tuesday, around 2 o'clock Eastern time with another project. So thanks again for joining. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we will chat soon.